It's 2 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to the third quarter Texas GIS community meeting. Thanks everybody for coming. For those in person who came, thank you so much. It's always nice to see our community showing up. Just to get through a couple of housekeeping things. So there will be time to ask questions after each meeting section. In-person attendees, raise your hand and we'll bring your microphone to ask your question. Any online attendees, please navigate to the Q&A if you have questions, or you can go ahead and raise your hand to signal a moderator that you have a question, and we'll enable you to unmute to ask any questions. Chat pods or AI deepfakes to be utilized during the meeting, so please do not use any AI technology during this meeting. The meeting is scheduled for about 2 hours. If you need to take a break, feel free to step outside. Bathrooms are located outside around the corner, and there's water fountains available down the hallway as well. If you're attending in person today, please make sure you stop by and sign in right outside the door. And then additionally, the meeting is being recorded, so once it's transcribed, we will make it available to the TxGIO YouTube channel. Usually takes a couple of weeks. We also have Jean, our videographer here, and she's taking some B-roll footage for a promotional video we're doing for the Texas Imagery Service, if you're wondering why there's a camera in the back. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. We are currently in the Barbara Jordan State Office Building, where I believe, are we going to have the rest of our meetings here next year as well?
Probably so.
All right. Yeah, it's been working out really well for us, so we'll keep rolling with this location through next year. Of course, our next community meeting is at the Forum this upcoming fall. Just an agenda, so we're going to have some opening remarks. We'll have a GIO update. Some forum updates, our StratMap program updates. We'll have a featured presentation today by Esri, open discussion, and then some closing remarks and announcements. So just a quick GIO update. So we are currently in the process of getting started on our GIO report that we do every 5 years. And we are currently very interested in hearing from the Texas GIS community. This is a document that's not just about TxGIO, it's about the GIS community itself and the data needs and where things really need to be addressed for the state. So if you have feedback or you have any input that you'd like to share with us, please reach out to Richard and the TxGIO staff, and we'll make sure that we incorporate that into the document. So that does come out December 1st. So the sooner we hear from you, the more likely it is we'll be able to incorporate your feedback into the document.
Okay. They're just doing the opening.
If you please make sure you mute your microphones.
Okay.
Sounds like we're getting a little feedback in here, so. Let's see. Oh, and I will go ahead and hand it over to Tim to talk a little bit about the forum.
Yeah. And this has the county bridge closed.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Laura Sepulveda. I'm the manager of the Design, Innovation, and Marketing Group in TxGIO. And I'm here to share about the forum a little bit. But before I do, every year we make a promotional video for the event, and we really enjoy it. We hope y'all enjoy it. This one is still in the works, but we are going to show like a preview teaser of it. So more to come, but you get a little sampling right now.
In this episode of the GIS Files, we delve into what's really happening at the Texas GIS Forum and why so many people continue to attend this event each fall. One man has spent years studying the TxGIO staff. Was he an intern? Was he part of the staff? Or did he sneak into the TxGIO offices years ago? Somehow, he's had the opportunity to study the people behind the Texas GIS Forum, and he has some interesting claims.
Things aren't what they seem at Texas GIO. The Pickle Center, the Texas GIS Forum, the people who work at TxGIO, it's all connected, man. STTRs, sentient time-traveling robots. At the Pickle Center for over 30 years. Why? It's because they got the nuclear reactor there. That's where they go to recharge every year. It's also where they get the power for their time warp bubbles. And the TAC supercomputer, it runs the whole thing. It's where they got their sentience.
Oh, I love the Texas GIS Forum. It's so much fun.
What? Time traveling robots. What does that even mean?
Come on, time traveling robots? Seriously? I mean, how does that even happen? I know we're living in the future and AI and everything else, but do you realize how silly that sounds? How ridiculous that actually sounds? Somebody ought to check out that guy wherever he is. Yeah, I mean, seriously, I work for the state. I don't have the ability to time travel. I wish I did sometimes, but I don't.
There's nothing weird about that place. No matter what that guy says, it's totally normal, it's totally fine, it's gonna be a great event, and there's nothing going on at that location. I'm not sure what these claims are, but it's preposterous.
Okay, so cheers to all the actors and Jean in the back for putting that together. More to come. It's going to be a longer feature, so get ready. But that is a promo video for the Texas GIS Forum, which is occurring first week of November this year, November 3rd, which is a Monday, through the 7th, which is a Friday. It will be at the Commons Conference Center again for the time traveling robots to recharge. And if you haven't registered yet, we do have our first price increase in September on the 12th. So if you want to get the best rate possible, I encourage you to register before September 12th. Map gallery submissions are open and they are ongoing. So you can go to our website at any time to submit a map that you made. You can make a map for the event if you want and submit that. And we will display it in our digital map gallery at the forum for everybody to see. I think there may be voting as well. So some bragging rights there. Sponsorships are also available. They're listed on our website. So if you know somebody you think should sponsor, or if your organization wants to sponsor, go online, check out the offerings. We did change them up a little bit this year, so there's a lot of good stuff on there, and you can register. I did want to highlight some of the workshops we have. So Monday and Tuesday of the event are pre-conference workshops. Some of those workshops are half day, some of them are full day. It just depends on the offering. We are very thankful to Teach Me GIS, Esri, Blue Marble Geographics, and TxDOT for leading those workshops. And we have a lot of diverse offerings this year, so we're really excited about that. Since we last met, we have added 3 new ones. So all about the maps from TxDOT, Introduction to Popular GIS Workflows in Global Mapper, and Hands-on LiDAR Analysis in Global Mapper Pro have been added since we last presented to y'all. These workshops usually host about 15 to 20 people. They do sell out some years, specifically the popular ones. So if you want to attend a workshop, please register as soon as possible. And they're pretty affordable. Half-day sessions are $150 each, and full-day sessions are $300 each. You can add them on to your registration for the forum. Or if you're not attending or not able to attend the forum and you're interested in taking a workshop, you can just take a workshop and not attend the event as well. Any questions about workshops? All right, and I'm really excited to announce our keynote speakers this year. So the opening keynote on Wednesday at the event will be National Geographic explorer, filmmaker, author, and former NASA advisor, Ariel Waldman. And then Thursday, to close out the event, we'll have JB Sauceda, host and executive producer of the Texas Country Reporter. Yeah. I think it'll be a really great event and wonderful speakers. If you want to learn more about these speakers or more about the event, you can go to our website and their bios are featured there. And then the last thing, something we did last year was give out our first Luminary Award at the event. Claire Devon received that in 2024. You can see her there. And it's something we want to continue going forward at the event. And so the Luminary Award is really an award meant to recognize key people in the Texas GIS community who show leadership, perseverance, commitment, and have driven meaningful progress. So if you know anybody who fits that, we are taking nominations. It's open to anybody to nominate anyone, and that runs through September 12th on our website. Also on our website there is more information about the criteria, the selection process, and how you nominate somebody. All right, any forum questions in general?
I think I saw someone raise their hand. Maybe they put it down. Okay. No.
If you think of one, you can ask later in the day as well. All right, and then the last thing I'm going to tell you about is an update on the TxGIO DataHub Redesign project. We've talked about this before, but if you haven't heard about it, TxGIO has a data hub where we make our data available to the public for anyone to access and download. And just like any digital tool, we need to keep up to date. We want to continually improve that product and modernize it. And so this project is an effort to do that. And so the goals are, we want to provide easier onboarding for new users who maybe haven't used it before. We want to incorporate help and guidance features, create consistency between the DataHub website and our main website at TxGIO, simplify the download experience, and improve spatial search capabilities. And how we are going about this is we are talking to all of y'all, our users. We had one session already where we tested our existing product, and now we're at the phase where we are coming up with ideas to change it and improve it. And we want to bring those back to all of y'all to see if we're right or wrong, because we don't want to make it worse. We want to make it better. And so we need y'all's input to do that. And so if you're interested in being a person that I speak to and sit down with and show you our prototype and have you test it, you can go to this QR code, fill out a survey that lets me know you're interested, and I'll reach out to you and schedule a time. Any questions about this? All right, and now I'm going to hand it over to Lauren to talk about the StratMap program.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming. My name is Lauren Kirk. I'm the imagery specialist at TxGIO, and I'll just start kicking off the imagery or StratMap updates for you guys. So very briefly, for those of you who are participants of our Texas Imagery Service, the latest 2024 statewide acquisition is now live and available for you guys to use. So if you haven't already, please check that out. And for those unfamiliar, the Texas Imagery Service is a subscription-based imagery service program that provides 6-inch natural color resolution imagery for the entire state of Texas with about an every other year update cycle. They are served via WMS and WMTS links that you can plug into any geospatial software that you can go to the Texas Imagery Service project page, and there is a little blue trial button, and I will issue you guys those links. So please check it out. And if you have any questions, if you are a participant or not a participant, have any questions, please shoot me an email. My email will be up here in a second. Happy to answer any questions. Also, we do have over 90 collections of ortho imagery available for free download on our TxGIO DataHub. The latest one we added was the 2024 NAEP acquisition. So most of those, all those are free downloads. Most of them also have WMS links as well if you do not want to download that data or want to have it in a more portable means. So very good resource through our DataHub. Please check those out as well. And then my main update is for our statewide 1 meter land cover data set that we have already kicked off, and we are in like the very early pilot project phase of this project. And so just you've heard me talk about this kind of off and on throughout the year, but We are going to be having the data roll in via ecoregions because Texas is so big and 1 meter resolution land cover can be very dense. So this is kind of the outline of what is going to be processed when and when it will be delivered. They will be rolling data deliveries, and we do expect some of those data deliveries to start happening sometime later this fall, winter, into 2025. So that's very exciting. We're really looking forward to seeing that data come through, and we just had really wonderful feedback from all of you guys. So I hope you find it useful, and I just keep saying excited because I'm very excited. And then up here, just to illustrate, these are the 20 land cover classes that will be included in that data product. Hopefully, we really try to cast a wide net to appeal to everybody and all of their project needs. But yeah, if you have any questions about the land cover project, my name is Lauren Kirk, or the imagery service and anything imagery related, and feel free to reach out. And with that, I will hand it over to Ellen. Thanks, Ellen.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Ellen St. Romain, and I manage the LiDAR related projects at TxGIO. I have a couple quick updates for you. First of all, the current big LiDAR project we have going on is still in the data processing phase. So 2 of the blocks of data have been delivered to the QA/QC. That will be available later this year or early 2026. We have 2 other projects we're kicking off soon. We will be flying LiDAR over the Ralph Hall Reservoir before it gets inundated, which is exciting. That'll be later this year. And then also we are creating 2D and 3D building footprints for several of our older collections. So both of those projects will be kicking off soon. And yeah, just that was an exciting thing I wanted to update y'all on. You guys are very familiar with this map at this point. This is the age of the LiDAR across the state. We're planning for this upcoming winter LiDAR collection. We've been speaking with some partners, but if you are opening to partner with us or you have priority areas you're interested in, please let me know. That area is not finalized yet, so just reach out if you have any questions on that. So does anybody have any questions for me now? No? All right, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Clayton.
Hi, everybody. I'm Clayton Rainier. I'm the bathymetry specialist with TxGIO. Just some brief updates for everybody. We have 2 ongoing projects right now, a Matagorda and Trinity Bay collection, and those are currently ongoing and approximately 40% complete. We expect to have those available in September or November. We are also starting to plan for future 2026 projects, and we're going to continue focusing on some of the coastal regions, but we'd also like to explore. That table on the right side just shows a priority table that was created back in 2022 of some of the high priority areas that were discussed at the TIFF workshop, which was just a workshop of external stakeholders that kind of came together and talked about some areas they'd like to see bathymetry for. So yeah, if there are any questions, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions right now. I'm going to pass it off to Sean.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sean Salisbury. I'm the Geographic Data Coordinator for StratMap. And 2 of my larger programs that I manage are the land parcels and address points data sets. So we've been having an ongoing data collection and processing cycle since the beginning of the year. I'm in my kind of final stages of that right now, doing QA, adding metadata. So it should be published towards the end of this month, maybe early August. That's what I'm shooting for. And again, we partnered with GIS for the land parcels. So we've been in correspondence with them. So I'm still waiting on a little bit of data to come in from GIS, but within the next few weeks, should have that in and published. I also wanted to highlight our report that we got back for our 2024 National Address Database submission that Clayton made because he used to be in this role. In that report, we saw that we had an increase of just over 1 million points to the database from the previous year in 2023. So it's a pretty significant milestone. And we had about 3% more points accepted into the database, which I think it also is pretty significant. So hopefully continuing to increase in the future. Speaking specifically to the land parcels, I kind of already mentioned this, but at the moment I have 203 of the counties in my possession right now, so I'm just waiting on 50 more, and then we can wrap that up. Yeah, for the address points, I have all of my data in-house at the moment. So like I mentioned, putting some finishing touches on it, should be out and ready for download early next month. Additionally, I wanted to introduce a new layer that's kind of in development, in some planning stages with that. It's in partnership with the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts Agency. So they maintain a city boundaries data layer internally for themselves at the moment. It's used for sales tax, managing sales tax. So we're partnering with their agency to get their data incoming into TxGIO. And we're going to develop a standardized schema similar to our land parcels and address points. So myself and Ayla, who's not here today, we've been in talks with people at the Census Bureau. We're going to have a meeting with some of the TxDOT folks here soon. But I want to open it up to anybody that kind of uses or would be interested in using a city boundaries layer to get in touch with me. Let me know what your wants are, what your needs are, and we'll factor that into our planning. I believe that's it. Joey.
Yes, just to give you some quick updates, we are continuing our work on the georeferencing project that we initiated last year for 100,000 frames. So we've been working with Surdex, who's now Bowman now, on that project. And we have gotten all of the 100,000 frames into our office, but we are currently going through a very intensive QA/QC process. And we currently just hit about 60% total QA/QC so far. And so we're working to get those accepted data sets onto our data warehouse where they can be downloaded for free. And then we're hoping that we'd be able to get the rest of those up before the end of the year. And of course, if you have any questions, here's the contact information for the strategic mapping team. If you have any questions about anything that was covered today, please reach out to us. We're always here to help and give you more information for GIS in Texas. And if you're wondering where Richard is today, he's helping out the water board, supporting them for the emergency preparedness and flood-related hearing at the Capitol today. So he was sad he couldn't make it. So DIR, the RFO for our new DIR vendors, has closed. They received a number of bid notices from vendors for that, and they're moving into the evaluation phase for those vendors. It was open to any interested GIS, survey, hardware, software related products. And they'll be set for the next 4 to 5 years. That vendor pool will be, and we're hoping to start seeing those contracts come online sometime later this year, hopefully in the fall, so we can have them available for us to use for this upcoming data acquisition season. And with that, we'll turn things over. John Doherty is here from Esri, and he's going to talk about some key takeaways from the Esri UC. So please welcome John.
Thanks, Joey. Afternoon, everybody. I'm John Doherty with Esri, and contrary to popular opinion, I am not a sentient time traveling robot. So nothing can, as far as entertainment value, nothing can beat that promo video for the forum. Would you agree?
Pretty
So,
good.
despite that, I'll try to be entertaining and informative. Thank you. And I'm also going to bring Brig Bowles in to talk about some of the technical updates and takeaways from the user conference. So to make it even more challenging, go ahead, Laura.
Thank you.
I didn't get to go. San Diego. So the degree of difficulty is a little bit higher. Let's see. Before we get started, I just wanted to recognize the first responders and everyone that helped out for the Kerrville flooding and take a moment to all the people who were affected by that event. But Will Bowman was one of the first. He's with Hays County Emergency Management, and he just represents all the first responders that helped out during the Kerrville flooding incident. But his story was, he was one of the first people to be boots on the ground in Kerrville and doing GIS. And that story got to Jack. Tracy, I think you helped play a part in getting that, so thank you. But we were able to track Jack down, and Jack recognized Will with a signed map book at the UC last week. So I thought that was pretty cool. So show of hands, who hasn't been to the UC? So I started out this presentation with the idea of recruiting people to get to San Diego at least once, right, during your career, if not multiple times. So the goal of this is really to give you an idea of what it's like to be there through pictures, right? So imagine you fly into San Diego, you go to the San Diego Convention Center, 2.6 million square feet of convention space is filled with nothing but GIS related information, events, people. And then you add on top of that the Hilton Hotel next to it and the Marriott Hotel on the other end of the convention center and the Omni Hotel across the street. You have GIS Central for a week from Saturday through Friday of last week. So the weekend before, there are a bunch of, there's an education summit, there's a public safety and security summit on Saturday and Sunday. The senior executive summit on Sunday is the getting kind of non-GIS leaders kind of ingrained indoctrinated, if you will, into the world of GIS and thinking geospatially. And so that's the weekend, and then Monday is the plenary. So, and Jack Dangerman's the star of the show. He's the Steve Jobs of our world, right? So this picture is on a bigger screen, looks really fantastic, but I had to crowdsource this whole presentation from social media, from friends, from people taking pictures at the UC and sending them to me. So I was building it while the event was going on. So we had 17,000 and change people attend, and another 20,000 people attend virtually from all over the world. So 167 countries represented in San Diego, hundreds of sessions, a bunch of Esri people, obviously the Red Badgers. There were 643 maps in the map gallery, and even the virtual map gallery makes that even bigger. So there were 660 expo talks, 48 interest. I heard those special interest groups are really good this year. You did have to register, and that'll go forward from now on, that you'll have to register in advance. Thousand buttons and 80,000 stickers were produced and traded. That's what I heard. So I just wanted to give you an idea of the plenary. It's 3 acts. Act 1 is the work that you guys do and recognizing what great work our Esri customers do with ArcGIS. Act 2 is preview of coming attractions for what Esri's up to, right? And then Act 3 is really the user stories of sharing their work. And I'll get to some of the details.
Can I share 2 things?
Yes.
So for those of us who don't go to the conference, we keep count of how many of our own clients' maps make it to
Yes.
Act 1.
Thank you. And this presentation is very Texas-centric.
It was,
I think
yeah.
I give kudos to two other states outside of Texas.
Right. And then we also, we're missing about 4,000 or 5,000 federal employees this year.
Yes.
As attendees. Yeah, I just heard that.
Keynote. Did everyone get to see the keynote? If you didn't, it's available online, right? You can go to the Esri Media Space. If you pre-registered for digital access before Monday morning, you have access to the proceedings now through October, the end of October. And so you can get to the virtual sessions, but you can also get to the 3 acts that were recorded and published on Monday. But Dr. Kirk had a really interesting presentation on the use of GIS in museum collections, and not just the Smithsonian in the US, but museums from all over the world. And think about linking the source and destination of how does an exhibit get from the field. Think about a dinosaur skeleton in Montana. How does that get, and what's the chain of custody? How does that end up in the London Museum of Natural History? And so and if you fill in the blanks, if I don't have the story correct, but the idea is that the Smithsonian, Esri, and other parties are going to be linking to using GIS to tell a new story about the collections that museums have and where do those things come from. And being able to go to a museum, you see a little placard and it tells you a little bit of a story, but you're going to be able to see the full story of that item or that collection and where it came from, and be able to visit virtually where that lizard skeleton came from or where that collection came from. And I'm going to have to go forward because this tells a better story. But just think about it. Using graph analytics and figuring out the source, the supply chain, if you will, of how that item got into that museum, and then linking every museum in the world to create an online collection of collections. I guess that's a good way to say that. But I found this talk really, really fascinating, and this is also available online in case you missed it. Now, some of the other keynote speakers that you should check out is CVS Pharmacy and how they use GIS to manage their business, but also protect their people and their assets. So their stores, their employees, and that kind of thing in weather events and just normal day-to-day supply chain kind of things. The San Francisco Airport indoor story is really noteworthy. The way they're using indoor mapping to connect the man-made world to the natural world and then manage their assets was really kind of fascinating. I had the privilege of mentoring 2 summer interns the week that I'm building this presentation. They were with me the whole week, and I had them watch the Esri commercial from 2018. Mm-hmm. And the idea is sort of you have enough data to be able to manage all the moving parts of an airport or an organization and just in time. So they're not hitting each other, they're passing each other, and everything is the skids are greased and everything moves like it's orchestrated. And that's really kind of what I took away from this San Francisco Airport example. And then you're going to hear CAL FIRE mentioned a bunch of times today. But CAL FIRE has a phenomenal implementation of GIS and also the use of AI to do early detection of potential forest fires. So to be a Homer and a Texan, these are the Texas organizations that were mentioned during the plenary. So we've got the UT Bureau of Economic Geology, City of Grapevine, City of Austin, San Marcos twice was mentioned in the plenary, Dallas County and Denton County, Houston, Austin Community College, and Austin Public Health. So that gives out 3 plenary awards, and they went to CAL FIRE, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for their public works implementation, and King County, Washington, which makes up Seattle, Washington. If you haven't seen their tools, they have 30 years of institutional knowledge on not just doing GIS, but managing GIS. They also have a return on investment calculator. So if you're a GIS manager, you can download their multi-page spreadsheet on how to calculate the return on investment. And they've actually published reports on on what their return on investment has been over, I think it's like a longitudinal study of decades of their investment in GIS and what the return has been. And they have just a wealth of knowledge. So I highly encourage you to check them out. So moving from the plenary on Monday, how am I doing on time? We're doing okay? All right. We moved to the map gallery. So after you hear all the great things in the plenary and the presentations, this is the map gallery, the live map gallery in the sail room, which is the top of the San Diego Convention Center. And so these are all static map displays that measure into the hundreds of displays. So there's people from all over the world. There are teams from different countries serving Turkish coffee or Arabic coffee, and giving you a real feel for their world and where they come from and the work that they're doing with GIS. Anybody want to comment about the map gallery, what they took away? It's a cool event, so you should check it out. If you don't get there in person, the virtual map gallery is pretty cool. Our customer, Tyler Lee, had a submission that was accepted, and he built, I can never say this, naloxone availability finder web application. So for the State Department of Health here in Austin. And then I also just captured a cool app from McKinney, Texas. It's their Santa Claus tracker, which is very important. And then so going from the map gallery, we enter into the expo. How many folks were able to attend the expo? All right, perfect. So we have all of our vendors, business partners, and then the Esri Island. So every aspect of our GIS is represented on the expo floor. You can go talk to people that manage tech support, manage pro licensing, and go ask questions. You can even get consulting. You can sit down and make appointments with professional services to work on data management, data governance, and things like that. And then we have our valued business partners. ICEI is really kind of a cool company that I've been sort of keeping my eye on, no pun intended, but they're using synthetic aperture radar to provide kind of high resolution imagery for emergency management events and doing analytics as well. So in the expo and on the product islands for Esri, this is another opportunity to submit your feedback to the actual product teams that run and make ArcGIS do what it does. So these are actual submissions from users like you to Esri on, hey, the solutions we want to see in the future are X, Y, and Z. And you don't have to have a sticky to do that. You can go to ideas.arcgis.com and submit your ideas and make your case. And then I started collecting a bunch of pictures of Jack, and it started becoming like a Where's Waldo or Where's Jack? So there's no rhyme or reason for this slide other than capturing the expo, and that Michael Siebert and Jack are always together for some reason. He's a really cool guy with our drone program, but Jack is everywhere during this event. Here he is with the Young Professionals Network. And one of the best things I thought with this whole event was this person created some overalls out of Esri conference bags. So the canvas bag. But Jack was very pleased by that, as you can tell. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Brig to be, I don't know, as entertaining?
No,
No.
nothing.
Over to you. He's going to talk about some of the key technical takeaways from Desktop, Pro, Enterprise, and Online.
Yeah. For those of you that do use Desktop, and going forward, is everybody at least up to 3.2? 3.3? All right, this is all 3.5. So going forward. But you have integration with other systems. And as we continue to evolve, we want to add more and more systems. As you can see, the two probably largest ones that have not been in there are ServiceNow and Snowflake. So you have auto read or direct read to these systems without having to go through an FME or something like that. So that's big, but that's at the desktop level. And as everything else continues to go, the advancing, obviously mapping, architecture, the usual things that if you've been to our conference, you hear the same thing. You know, you're like, what are the big wows that are coming? Anybody want one? What's the biggest thing you need in Pro?
Is it in Pro?
Pro. Everybody loves Pro. You don't need anything else in it.
Low cost.
Imagery Street View.
I can't. What was it?
Imagery Street View.
Street View?
Like in Google Earth, you can go to Street View, but you can't do it in Pro.
Yeah.
Unless there's a plugin.
No, in September, you'll be able to do it. We bring in Google Street View directly with it, with a thing with Google. So that's coming. But that's not even important. That's just in there. You could do it now actually through some coding. But you have to pop up a secondary window. You will not be able to do. I don't know if they're going to force you to have a secondary window or not, but you will be able to bring in their ortho, their what do you call them? I don't like them street view, but you're instead of a straightforward down picture, it's the side obliques.
What was the question? What is Gaussian splat?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. So as you can see here, it's a little hard to see. They're small. We stole these from Jack's slides. So, but the biggest thing is a new metadata editor. Is that exciting? Oh, the ability in definition queries to add spatial parts to that as opposed to just an attribute query. So if you're looking at data, I can make it a little more defined and work through that. Tool suggestions has been there since 3.4, but it's getting bigger. This isn't the AI part of it. This is just straight tool suggestions. At the top, there's a little thing. It's got the little AI item that we throw in there, but it's basically you're asking a question of how the hell do I find a buffer? And it will bring up all those items. Let's see, going forward, you've got the AI assistants coming. These are internal. They're not external, so you're not going to go to a ChatGPT or Gemini or anything like that out. Do we have a big AI data center? No. It's mainly being done on your computer. It just pulls the libraries in. So, and those are private libraries. They're not bringing it out from anybody else. The biggest one that I see is the coding one, because I'm a hacker. I'm not a true coder. But it will become a true coding package. And if you want to use it, it's in beta. You have to go to the experience, the beta page that anybody that has our product can get to. You can download it. It works with 3.4 and 3.5. So if you want to play with that going forward. Gaussian splats, you might play with those? Yeah. Some coders? Okay. Using forward, those will be in hopefully by December. They are 3D. It's a very lightweight ability to look at 3D data. Look at it as, I'm trying to think of an example. You take an image or somebody sends you an aerial image of the world and it's 4,000 megabytes. You're like, oh, great. This is about 5 megabytes of the exact same thing. And it works faster because it doesn't pull as much data at the same time. So it's really a huge jump for anybody that's doing gaming, computer design, anything in those fields because of the lightweight and the use of it. So just the research, but it is coming to our stuff. The simulation modeling will get better. I don't know anybody use any of that. Bathtub modeling, looking at water flows, things like that. You can use those for other things as long as the density is greater than 1. So, water is just one fluid. You could use it for anything. Mapping or cartography, we continue to do that. We still have a huge, hopefully everybody is still consider themselves map makers here, not these digital product things, but an actual map. So you can show things and push out information based upon what your eye can see and the colorization of it and working with that. So that's been continues to get better. The only thing I liked in here, sorry to say, is the dual scale bar. Now I can have 2 there, so I can have different things showing different scales, which is important. People like it. Enterprise, here again, getting better. This is 11.5, which is the last full release or the last long-term release before we go to 12 next year. The biggest difference between, how many are on 3.11.1 server? Ten three. Do anybody know what server you're on?
I have people for that.
Okay.
11.3.
11.3.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're paying maintenance, you should be at least close to the newer ones. The biggest difference is the JavaScript 3 going away. So you're going to have to go to JavaScript 4 and newer security things for 12. So if you want to stay at 11.5, you've got 6 more years fully supported. So there's no reason to brush until we tell you to, I guess.
I also
Yes, ma'am.
heard Reg saying on a client call that it's the 11.5 is the fastest, cleanest install he's seen so far. That's all he does.
Yes, he's an installer for us, but yes, it is a very clean install. And you'll notice one thing on there, and I've only had one client get mad about that, but that's a URL change for your portal. Right now, if you're below 11.5, it's a pain to do. It's a lot of moving of parts at 11.5, it makes it a lot easier. You can just change it. So, data pipelines is coming to enterprise. Anybody use those online? It's just a graphical ETL tool is all it is to working with data. And they're going to put that into portal part of it. So that works there. And there's also the search as we go forward. AI will become part of Pro eventually. It's starting on desktop for us more than anything, and the web. So if anybody use the web tools for that. Map Viewer, as you know, anybody using Map Viewer Classic still? Older story maps? No, okay. They're not going away. It's just eventually your browser won't be able to recognize the JavaScript 3 in it. And depending on what version of JavaScript 3 dot whatever it is, gets harder and harder moving forward. But most of us look like you've been around a while. Anybody use old Adobe stuff? No? You still can get Adobe items out there from the web. They still work. You got to fix it, but they will work. So what I'm saying is JavaScript's not going away. Even though we're forcing you to get rid of Web App Builder and any JavaScript, that's just because we have to keep moving forward. As they say, this is the reason. Blame these guys. That's what everybody wants to work off of. Drag and drop tools, things like that are coming more and more in the web browser from a enterprise standpoint. So if you're in Portal and only using in Portal for your web-based stuff, you're just getting more and more tools within that. AI, most people that have used ArcGIS, actually any GIS product, have used AI for going on 10 years now. Anybody did remote sensing? You're using AI. What that is the definition of teaching the computer to pull something out based upon some little definition of it. And as we go forward, these models continue to get better and better. The textual models, like the happy, what is it? Huggy face model, which is a text one. It allows me to take in, even though it's text, it allows me to go in and get, let's say that's a car on the road. I need to make it clear so I have a clean road. You guys use Google a lot for maps. I hope you do on these things, or Apple. You see a lot of cars on the roads when you go to the satellite photoing?
Yes.
Some of those aliens just took them away. They're erased. Plain and simple. Only the street view do you sort of get things in it, because they don't want to do that. But they do, what, blank out all license plates. That's AI. That's been around for years. So, but as we going forward, so you have that side of it, the AI, what we call GIO AI. Those are the licensing models. You've been able to use them online without having to worry about downloading them. Now you don't have to worry about downloading them in Pro. So that's a lightweight. You don't have to download 20 gigs of models to use them. So it makes it very much easier. The other side is the assistants. These are the things going forward where we're trying to use natural language models or language definitions. So I can just ask the computer, please go out and buffer all items within Travis County that meet XYZ criteria. And it should go get the area of Travis County and any data within that in your data sets, and then do what you ask it to do. That's what you want. Instead of you having to think, oh, Travis County's here. Let me pull the county data set. Let me mask out everything else except that one clip, then clip everything else. Well, that's what these tools are going to do for you. You don't have to do that. And that's where it's not becoming smarter than you. It's just making it easier on your job of doing things that you want to do. With those assistants, obviously comes the coding side, because I want to code my assistants also. I don't want just the tool there. So as we work forward, we'll get more and more into that. So like us, like everybody else, we are becoming an AI platform, except we just throw in geospatial, which is what you guys do. So all that geospatial stuff. So anyway, so you have your agents, which will be coming. That's something that is probably by December, you're going to see some of those. So I want to ask that collaboration of go out and do some type of search on the web for me and get this information and bring it in, as opposed to just using my local data sets for my tools. Some assistants that are there now. Has anybody tried them? Anybody used any of those? These can be turned off, so you don't have to use them. I know some state agencies do have that thing, they can't use them, but you can turn them on or turn them off. That's at the organizational level, so just FYI. If you haven't used the survey one, all it does is auto build a survey for you. So I don't have to type it. You can say, I want a survey to go out in the field and do this, this, and this. And it will, here it is. Do you want it? Yes, generate it. So it just makes it a little easier instead of stepping through the stuff. And you can say, I don't like it, add this and add this to it. It'll auto add it to it. So they've tried to make it as easy and usable for the general public. The business analyst one is the same thing. It's a very nice little step through. None of these automatically do anything. They just give you suggestions and then you say yes or no, if you want to use it or not. So that's where it's got the gutters or whatever you want to call the things on the side of the bowling alley. So the ball stays in the lane. It's up to you to keep that in the lane. Any questions on that? Living Atlas, anybody use these? Heard of it? It's getting stronger and stronger. Some things that a lot of people don't use are the apps in it that you can pull and use those apps within your organization if you wanted to and zoom down to certain areas. The drought map is very nice. to work through that. That answers a lot of questions for people as you go forward. So instead of you building this entire data set to do that, the data comes from there. And they have all the other data that's out there as we go farther. They will start putting more tools in there for doing data discovery up front, as opposed to you actually going and get the data, bring it down, then doing the discovery part of it. APIs and SDKs keep getting stronger. And as we keep moving forward, you'll notice one top one up there is the Arcade AI Assistant. That's going to be a direct code reader. It's going to be in the pop-ups, so I can do that automatically. And it's going to be just in the UI for your arcades, whether it's online or whether it's in your desktop. So let's see, anything else? Location services, that is becoming stronger and stronger. Geocoding, so working through that.
All right, thanks, Rick. John, any questions about the platform updates? So I thought I was going to wrap up the presentation with just recognizing some of the SAG award winners, the Special Achievement GIS awards. I know that Oklahoma is not in Texas. We try to keep them at the border. But I thought this was a really cool example that folks would benefit from learning about. Is Oklahoma City Police has been using the mission solution, ArcGIS for Mission, for their managing their marathon for the last 3 years. And so think of Mission as an event management solution for your GIS. The city of Plano was recognized for their conservation efforts in using Survey 123 and dashboards to kind of manage species and species of birds that are migrating through their area. City of Seguin. Who thinks of Seguin? I like Seguin, actually. I spent time there.
Fastest growing city.
The Burnt Bean barbecue restaurant is phenomenal downtown. But they're doing a phenomenal job, not just with GIS, but also with IT. They're winning national awards from NASIO, the National Association of Chief Information Officers, and they're also being recognized for their work in GIS. And this year they won a SAG award specifically for taking all of their islands of GIS, their silos of GIS in different city departments and bringing them together in an actual enterprise GIS. So now it's sort of part of the centralized nervous system of how the city is run, which is a really cool example. The Port of Corpus Christi, they're not too shabby either. They've been doing great work in building out digital twins. They're rivaling, I believe, the Port of Houston in terms of the volume of cargo that they process.
Yeah, they're trying. That's their goal. They're digging deeper. They're trenching. They're built a new bridge. They've got a direct pipeline from the Permian Basin for oil delivery to
Great work. Yep. But they're doing really neat work with kind of visualizing their entire port and being able to do better, more effective planning and seeing potential problems in the future by creating kind of the future state of where they want to take things and seeing, hey, we're going to have to build this road wider than we thought, or we're going to have larger water lines to accommodate, wastewater and those kinds of things. And of course, TDM, their vulnerability application. So folks with disabilities and special health needs can register using Survey 123 into the STEER system. And it gives TDM a better picture of their vulnerable populations that get impacted by events. And then it wouldn't be Texas if we didn't recognize HEB. So Liz Parrish and her team were recognized for their the use of GIS within managing HEB and also responding to emergency events. And then Liz was part of the GIS Managers Summit at the user conference. And then something different this year, we're always trying to do something new and different, was the party Thursday night was held at the Padres Stadium. And I was a little skeptical, but I've heard really good things, that the food was good if you went. Would you agree?
I would do a lot better than the super.
And you didn't have to get on the bus. And you,
Yeah,
yeah. So there's pros and cons. Yeah. Thank you.
You got to go in the dugout. You got to go in the locker room.
How much you did?
Yeah.
You Scott, you missed it. Okay.
The visitor locker room.
Oh.
There weren't any baseball players in there, but.
They don't.
Jackie was in there.
I did get there.
That's where not the
Yeah. So for the folks that didn't go, what you missed, beyond just being there and being immersed in all things geospatial, are some of the things you can do when you're there are the service appointments. You can make connections that'll last, a career with professional services and learn about, being able to do things like get help on GIS architecture. You can do data health checks. But I think these are really very cool, and you don't have to just do these at the UC. You can really initiate them anytime, but geospatial strategy, data governance, and adoption strategy. It's not the technology that's the barrier. It's how are we promoting the adoption of GIS with non-GIS people? How do we approach them where they're at and make the technology work for them as opposed to making them bend to our will? People aren't going to use technology that they won't use natively. I don't know if that's a good way to say that, but we've got to make solutions that anybody can use, right? To be able to kind of grow the value and adoption of GIS within our organizations. And this kind of help from professional services is really beneficial in how to get off the starting line and make progress. So I have to, I can't, I owe the credit to folks who are taking pictures of the summary event, the wrap-up event on Friday. But this is kind of what we heard from the audience, from the attendees. They liked the amount of learning, but it was too much, right? There are too many options. So what we're trying to do is, if you register before virtual access, before you go, you're going to have access to the proceedings afterwards for a lot longer, right? The network opportunities are phenomenal. But again, there's so many. You wear out your shoe leather, getting from one place to the other. So if you have a team, be strategic and maybe divide and conquer and have, one person goes to this session, one person goes to that session, and they compare notes afterwards. How am I doing on time?
You're good.
Okay. So the reorganization of the expo, I think the ability to navigate and find things on the expo floor was better or improved this year. And they love the new version of the map gallery and the sale room. And then, it's a great way to kind of, we're all being in the office and being in the UC is a great opportunity to get out of your own headspace and get away from the interruptions of your workaday world and focus on, what you really want to achieve, both in your individual career, but also what do you want to achieve for your organization. And you get to meet other people from all different walks of life, from all over the world, who have different perspectives, and they share what they've done and how they overcome those human obstacles, to getting things done, I think, which is really one of the most valuable takeaways. Some of the top sessions that people sort of crowdsourced were the GIO AI. And I think John's opinion of GIO AI, I was sort of overwhelmed or saturated by AI for the last couple of years. And then I had to do a GIO AI presentation, and I kind of rediscovered the value of GIO AI. And it's not taking away your job. It's going to make you better at what you do, and it's going to make you your role more impactful for your organization. So things you might not be able to do right now or you didn't learn how to do, AI is going to help you almost be a crutch to getting those things done faster and then learning those skills after you kind of meet that deadline. Does that make sense? So nothing to be afraid of, but I think it's going to make us better and make us more capable of meeting the needs of our organization. So the whole takeaway of this, the theme of this conference was integrating everything everywhere. And I keep wanting to say all at once. But I try to stop myself. But Jack's plenary has been, since 2015 has been this adopting WebGIS. So integrating, don't be an island of GIS. A desktop license is like one hand clapping. Integrating the desktop with enterprise with the cloud allows you to integrate with the other information systems within your organization. And you get new data sources, you get new champions. And there's nothing but benefit from trying to achieve that goal of integration and having systems talk to one another. So I like this quote from Jack, GIS professionals are becoming critical participants in the evolution of our planet, helping maintain, manage, and integrate everything, everywhere, all at once. So I want to thank you for your time and attention and make a plug for Jack and Laura inviting you back next year in San Diego. So thank you. The youngest member of the audience, congratulations, by the way.
For everybody to meet.
Any questions or feedback in your experience at the event, either virtual or in person?
Yeah, any virtual attendees, if you just raise your hand, we can unmute you. Yes.
Great call.
Sarah, Ethan, I'm going to unmute you. You should be free to talk. All right, let's try Brent Porter. Brent, you can unmute yourself.
Oh, how about now?
Yeah, there we go. We can hear you.
Okay. Okay, cool. It was kind of lagging on the response on the mic. I wanted to say that the Education Summit was really good this year. I mean, obviously the main conference was good too, but I really appreciated some of the kind of preview stuff that we got to see at the Education Conference. They showed us, one of the things that I really liked that they showed us was that there's 6 new analysis imagery layers in Living Atlas that you can actually download tiles for to do analysis. They're not just viz tiles, they're analysis tiles. So that was a really cool reveal. I hope that they continue in that same trend of opening up more analysis layers for folks inside of Living Atlas. And there was a really cool kind of thrust in the Education Summit on the geographic approach to learning, or the guide to the geographic approach to learning by UC Santa Barbara. So I've already started looking into how we could integrate some of the lessons and modules and ideas from that geographic approach over at ACC. So I'm pretty excited and enthused by that part of the conference. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Brent. Yeah. And you reminded me, I took some takeaway notes. I'm going to make a plug for our speaker at the forum, who's going to be Suzanne Foss. One of the strategic thrusts for data science and spatial analytics at Esri will be in predictive analytics and predictive failure and those kinds of things. So when given enough variables, the holy grail might be, when is that system going to fail, or when's that dam going to fail? But there's going to be a lot more. You'll see that in the talk at the Esri talk at the plenary of the forum in November. I'm trying to train myself to say November, not October. But I'm really excited about that predictive analytics, and then adding AI on top of that, and what the future is going to hold. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it.
Thank you, John. It's a great recap on the, let's see. Next, I think we'll go into open discussion. So this is a part where we like to hear from all the agencies and what's been going on. Again, if you are online, just raise your hand and we will enable your microphone and then you can unmute yourself and speak. So without further ado, anybody in the room want to start off? See a few different state agencies here, if anything notice they want to bring up. Yeah.
One of the takeaways from the UC conference was creating these executive portfolio maps, which are like story maps for leadership to just kind of have quick reference that they could share. So we got back and started building one of those. And we spoke with Jim Harris yesterday. Got now examples of that. But I think it's a really great way to give that geospatial information to the leaders so they can appreciate, the work we do, but also to have some information right at their tips to share when they need to.
Cool. Anyone else around the state? I see many familiar faces. Yeah, Scott, go ahead from GLO.
Well, I've got to run to another appointment, so I can't stay to the end. But I'm Scott Friedman, for those of you that don't know me, and I just wanted to say this is my last community meeting as a state employee. I'll be retiring August 31. So. Right. You're still not bad. I'll still do that. To work with all of you. Yeah, on to the new chapter. But I'll still be at the GIS forum because Richard and staff kindly gave me a complimentary pass. So I'll attend that as a private citizen.
We're definitely going to miss you. Keep up the work. Anybody else?
Luggage in it.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Jared Ware from Railroad Commission. Finally, we sunset the old version of the software and jumped onto Arc Pro and then upgraded the server, and it's gone great. I mean, great job for you guys for the support over the last year. And it was a little difficult getting some folks that were very accustomed to, legacy versions of software. But once they kind of embrace the Arc Pro world, they're like, wow, life is so much easier. And we got people writing their own tools now, so that's kind of cool. We've been doing a lot of work with on the TxNet site with Bureau of Economic Geology. So some of the seismic events that we've had with induced seismicity and our regulatory requirements has kind of pushed us to use a lot more GIS products. So we're using a lot of the stuff you guys have, particularly imagery, and then integrating synthetic aperture radar with our new seismologist. She's awesome. And so we're starting to get a lot more GIS savvy at the Railroad Commission. And then we're doing some upgrades with our inspection requirements as we continue to kind of pick up things from the legislature with the new requirements, particularly for Class 5 and Class 6 wells under which are geothermal and carbon dioxide sequestration. So it's been kind of interesting last year, but thankfully we've had a lot of support from our commissioners. We're pretty healthy in the budget over the next 2 years, and we continue to invest in IT. So, I would say a couple years ago, we were crossing our fingers, but it's great to see we're hiring folks with GIS backgrounds as part of the kind of position description now. And I think the next thing, looking at this, is we better add AI to the position going forward. So that's us at the Railroad Commission.
Yeah, thank you. Your things are going well.
Yeah.
We have a hand up. Laura Chapa, you can speak. I think your mic is. You can take yourself off mute and speak.
Laura?
Yeah.
Okay.
She should be able to unmute.
Laura, you should be able to unmute yourself to speak. Still muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. Hey, everybody. Laura Chapa here from TxDOT. I did have a few announcements that I wanted to make. So one big announcement is that when I started TxDOT about a year and a half ago, there were of the 25 districts across the state, there were only about 11 of the 25 districts that had a GIS hub. And I'm happy to announce that this Friday, we'll be launching our new district hub. So all 25 districts will have a hub. We will have an internal facing version of that as well as a public facing version of that. So thinking of folks throughout the state who need district data, there is now that public facing platform so that the districts can share out their data maps and apps with their public constituents. So while some of the districts may not have much on there just yet, there will be more to come. So just so you know how to find that, if you go to the TxDOT Open Data Portal, there will be a link at that top banner to our GIS district hub. So you can get more information, and each district has its own hub page. So really proud and excited about that. Another announcement that I wanted to make is that the 2025 TxDOT Geospatial Conference will be held November 18th, 19th, and 20th at Texas State University in San Marcos. We will have some training internal to TxDOT on that Monday, the 17th. We are actively working on getting the CVent site up, so that should be up in the next week or two, actually here pretty soon, as well as registration to be opening up and options for registration for exhibitors as well. So I wanted to make a little plug for that. Again, that geospatial conference is going to be November 18th through 20th. And then my last announcement that I wanted to make is that I'm actually leaving TxDOT. Tomorrow is my last day. It's mostly due to the return to office and change in the telework policy. On the flip side of that, I'm excited to announce that I'll be joining the City of Austin as the IT service owner on their geospatial solutions and engagement team. So I'm not going far, but I just wanted to make the community aware. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura.
You know what happens? People leave TxDOT. Go to your agency. They always come back, you know?
It's happened once.
Yeah.
Very good. Anybody else online? Anybody else in the room have any updates for the community? All right. Okay, well then we will move on. And I think I'll pass it off to Laura to talk a little bit about some other updates.
If you registered online, or if you register online, you may notice we asked you if you'd like to share any job openings that you have. And so these were organizations that were shared from registrants from y'all from the community of places that are hiring GIS jobs. So we have Environmental Research Group, Williamson County, City of Houston, Texas Department of Transportation, Gulf Coast Water Authority, EJES Incorporated listed. And so if you are looking for a GIS job or know somebody, these are places to keep an eye on. They are known to hire people in this community. If you missed it online, this was the slide I was showing about the GIS job openings submitted from the community. And next, Courtney, would you like to come up?
Sure, but we also have our president, Eli Seal, and also our webmaster, Hannah, here as the officers.
Well, you're welcome to come up and share about the Mappy Hour information.
Sure. Yeah, we're gonna have our Mappy Hour at 4:30. It's over at the tavern this time, which I don't think we've held it there before, but please come by and join us. Also, yeah. I'll go ahead and add, hey, I'm Courtney Rowe, and I brought Michelangelo Wolfram Rowe. I'm a new mom and really excited because I've been a career professional for a while, and adding this to my balance has been really exciting. If y'all don't know, I moved to my hometown of Del Rio for at least the upcoming year. So I'm gonna be looking for a remote position so that I can balance family and continuing my professional life. So the Mappy Hours are great opportunities for us to network with each other, get to know each other as people, friends, colleagues, and meet new friends. Have met some great people over the years. So if you're online, you don't have to attend this meeting to come to the Mappy Hour and network with some great people. So I hope to see all of y'all there.
Yeah, thanks, Courtney. And the Tavern is an iconic Austin location. If you haven't been there, it's a fun place. And I heard it's haunted, so. That's gonna be exciting. We are frozen again. Okay. The last quarterly Texas GIS community meeting will be held as part of the GIS forum. It's on the Friday of the event. It's free and open for anybody to attend. You don't have to register for the forum to come to that meeting. And it is at the Commons Conference Center though. So the first 3 were held at the Barbara Jordan this year, but the 4th quarter will be at the Commons Conference Center. And then as a reminder, all of these meetings are recorded. After this meeting ends, we send it out for transcription and then we add it to our YouTube channel. So if you missed it or want to go back to see something or share it with somebody else, you can find them all there. We also post updates on our X channels at Geographic Texas. And if you need to find us on YouTube, it's also at Geographic Texas. We're trying something new. It's revolutionary. We never sent out a survey about this meeting before, but we would love to hear your feedback. We've been doing it kind of a similar format and way for a while now, and we'd like to hear from y'all what you like, what you don't like, what we should consider implementing or changing or adding. We always want to make these beneficial for y'all, and so please let us know. This is the survey link, and we'll also include it in the follow-up email that gets sent out to everybody for you to share your feedback. And at any time, if you want to email us, our email is gio@twdb.texas.gov. Thank you for coming out, and I hope to see y'all at the happy hour.